Heat 7 of round 1 now hitting the lineup. Jeremy Flores will be out there in the red. Adrian Buchan will be surfing in the blue. And CT rookie Davey Cathels will be surfing in the white. Should be a fantastic clash. Ronnie Blakey joined by former championship tour competitor Ross Williams.
Pretty stressful for the guys. A lot of jockeying there. Crazy that Kaloy Andino couldn't find better than a 5-point ride there in the last basically 15 minutes of that heat.
Had a great start, didn't he? Well, one surfer that would be compete, you get fireworks. And Jeremy Flores and Adrian Buchan are two guys that can really turn it on.
100%. And Jeremy, he surfs really well on this wave right here. He knows how to fit in those tight little sections.
Well, here goes Jeremy now. And he has a lot of speed, some sharp equipment underfoot, and really gaining momentum down the line here, looking for a big float. Needs some solid wall. Puts his board on rail. Yeah, I love the sleepers on the CT. Jeremy Flores just getting a rare breakthrough win when this tour is being dominated by title contenders year in, year out. Jeremy, he crept back into, well, career best form, you'd have to say, with that win over there in Tahiti over Medina.
Yeah, 100%. That was one of the coolest wins we saw last year on tour. And here's our debut right here, Davey Cathels.
10th on the QS in 2015. Finished equal 10th with Ryan Callanan. And had a really solid run in some of the big QS 10,000s last year.
Their basic fundamentals, do they make the right choices? This wave really exemplifies those guys that, it pays huge dividends to the veterans that know how to choose those growers out here to max out scoring potential.
One of the most focused competitors on tour just there, Adrian Buchan picking off a pretty average ride.
The last couple of weeks have been really good here, and it's totally different now, but it's still just like, just out there having fun and kind of just surfing the wave.
All right, Mikey, well, advancing through to round 3, we keep it entertaining for us. Back up to you, Ronnie.
Cheers, Rosie. And Mikey achieving one of his goals already in the event. He wanted a round 1 win so he could get the interview with Rosie. Job done. And Mikey will be handing out free haircuts later on this afternoon down here in the car park at Snapper Rocks. There's Jeremy Flores. Loads up and unleashes a couple of big rail hacks. Here is a guy who has just found the fire for competition again in recent times, and a bit of bump on the face to deal with, no problem for Flores.
Thoroughly impressed right there. Davies found himself a little wave. I dare to say that was one of the better surf waves I've seen in a long time, especially in the small stuff from Jeremy Flores. He had some big results on a QS last year at Lowers, the Oakley event at Lowers. He really kicked it into gear in some of the smaller stuff, so it's right there for Jeremy. He's one of those guys that rides high on his emotions and low on his emotions as well. And the same thing for his equipment. And you mentioned it, his board looks so spot on. As we see, this is the top of the wave for Davey Cathels. There's that beautiful rail work that we're going to see all year long from Davey Cathels. Looks like he's extremely comfortable putting together all the puzzle pieces on a point break. But wave selection is kind of eluding Davey so far. That wave didn't have that inside goods.
That was really interesting to hear you bring that up. And it is something we're going to watch with each of our rookies. But I can see Davey starting to put a little bit more oomph into his turns already. You can see he's expelling air as he really pushes hard. But these guys, when they get on a decent wave, get an opportunity to do bigger turns, and that's exactly what Jeremy did with this ride.
And there's so many different ways to skin a cat. That was 3 beautiful slices there from Jeremy Flores. Even though they weren't those big old Michel Perez Spartan hacks, I really appreciate those carves.
Well, here is Davey Cathels finding a better wave and a solid finish on that one.
A lot of different body types on tour, and Davey Cathels, Jeremy Flores, Ace Buchan, they all kind of have that middleweight feature where they really have to be sharp on their rail, but these guys are good at that.
Not a lot of pair bodies on there. Everyone's pretty cut and really fit, and especially this time of year, just after the off season, a lot of training going into the new season for most of these competitors. As Buchan drives off the bottom, beautiful backhand snap there, and again gets his board stuck right into the oncoming section and a solid finish. So less maneuvers from Adrian, but a little bit more quality there than maybe what Davey was able to perform on his last wave. 19 minutes to go, and waiting on some numbers to come on through from the judges. I was just looking back on Jeremy Flores and his track record as I speak of the man. Here he goes again, generating some speed. He'll kick out. But back in 2014, on the CT, he didn't get past the third round. And the frustration was on show at Jeffreys Bay. Had a meltdown and actually got himself suspended for an event. And as a result, he had to really start thinking about backing himself on the QS. Put together an amazing run on the QS at the back end of 2014 to keep his place on the CT, because he dropped all the way back to 33rd in 2014 on the CT. But last year, a real return to form, a CT win and an 8th place finish, as we see the replay of Bucko.
Two pretty big turns there for Bucko, but again, 7.17 for Jeremy, so that's where the scale is set. Everyone's got their own little novel that's been unfolding. Last year was ridiculous, the last couple of years, but last year especially, all the drama that went on with several guys. And you think about Jeremy, he busted his head open in Indonesia after that.
He got himself a couple of beautiful rides to win that event. Here we go, Davey Cathels on the replay.
Wow, I like that little read he had. He took the low road, bottom turn, and then smashed that first turn. But he's been suffering from that that lack of that inside bowl, where you really need to, lean into a handful of turns to go big with the score.
17 minutes remaining. Back in the day, who was instrumental in running this event for the broadcast of this event for a number of years. But there is plenty of people supporting Davey Cathels and, of course, Laura Enever on the women's CT in this first event. A big crew on the beach.
And it's really looking like two swells hitting and really showing the face of the wave more, and they're actually getting more vertical up into the bowl, and it's really nice to see. I mean, we got some amazing surfers coming up, just like Davey Cathels right here. The rookies coming in strong, banging away. We're gonna see Connor Kaufman. Look at this guy, he's just flying down the line. What's he gonna finish with? Bang! Looking good. Wow, another one.
On fire. And again, dodging sets out there on the lineup. Strider was the Lewski, but Davey Cathels picked off a pretty nice one there. I love that point Strider made, though, about the swell starting to double up a bit. We are going to see an increase in the swell overnight, and that might be arriving now.
When I first made the tour, if you were 28 years old, 29 years old, you were a complete dinosaur. You were on your way out. Now, if you're 29, you're in your prime. You're just getting started. So it has evolved. People are paying attention to their diet, their cross-training. They're staying very fit and healthy for a long time. So we didn't get to see him too much on tour, but he was intimidating. He was a big kid.
Okay, here goes Davey Cathels swinging on the inside. Generating a lot of speed out here at the moment. He's been up here on the Gold Coast through the off-season, working hard, getting ready for this first stop. And he's picked off a decent ride here. And I love that. Throws his board into reverse. He's going to hang on to that move. High risk, explosive surfing from the rookie. Just as they queue up the replay here, Ross, just quickly, who was the unhealthiest person on the CT when you were competing?
For a while there, Sonny Garcia. He was never physically totally out of shape, but that dude would eat a lot of McDonald's. Luckily, he's changed that up. Now he's the fittest human in his age group.
Well, he's running marathons, competing in Ironman events. Well, here goes Jeremy Flores now. Maybe aware that Davey Cathels has just put away a good score, and Jeremy, he's starting to line up this inside section. Just a bit of lost traction with the lip there. Recovers well though, solid finish. Felt good.
Just a little look over the shoulder there.
Just a little look.
Making sure the judges saw that last turn, and you're right, he did slip just for a half a second on that turn, but he backed it up nicely with that closer.
And we've seen some big heats. It's been heavily dominated by the top seeds so far this first round. Bit of an upset in that last heat with Mikey Wright getting the jump on the world champ. And we're seeing CT rookie Davey Cathels start to flare out here at the moment.
Yeah, I just love this kid's technique. He doesn't seem to overpower his board. He really keeps that thing clean as a whistle. He never digs rail, and there he goes. He mixed it up nicely on that last maneuver, blowing the tail into a little reverse. So he's been chipping it away, a bunch of solid, mediocre scores. And this is going to be cool. I really wanted to take a look at this last turn here. Nice jam there. This is where he's going to slip just 2 jams. Wow. So he had a lot of maneuvers in this wave. Connecting the dots there. This one's back foot slips right there. But then he backs it up nicely. So he really cleaned that wave up. He's got, what, 4 or 5 major maneuvers. Judge is still deliberating. So he left a good taste in the judge's mouth.
Well, we're still waiting on the number to come through, but Jeremy, he's going to get that priority and have a position of power going into the back half of the heat. But during the break, Davey Cathels picked off this one, Ross.
Just look at this kid's style and technique. He keeps that front arm really quiet and leans onto that front foot. And you talk about picking apart style and technique. This guy is textbook right here. He is going to age well on tour.
Well, here goes Jeremy Flores, 27-year-old. Has taken the lead. His last wave came through at an 8.73. He won't better the 7.17 there. And look at Davey Cathels striding back to the lineup. He wants to get back to the takeoff zone. The thing I'm loving from Davey Cathels at the moment that I haven't really seen, and often you do see, and some, but Jeremy Flores on a tear out here at the moment.
And let's look at it again here. I mean, almost a 9-pointer. Nice floating turn there, just trying to get out to the open face. This wave was so beautiful. It just stretched out in front of him. There's that first jam. Second one, wow, I like that. So even though we've been talking about how these guys are kind of surgeons, you know, middle body weight type of guys, those are power turns. Little bobble, but then he backs up with a layback snap to finish that wave. I liked it. You know, that was beyond excellent surfing and almost a 9-pointer.
Solid finish. Well, here goes Buchan chasing a huge number. He's going to float this first section, just getting some speed, hoping this wall stands up. Gets his board vertical. And the nose digs and he falls. Just over 3 minutes to go now. And really it's a battle between Cathels and Flores now. Ace Buchan will slip in the 3rd priority. So he'll have limited opportunities in these final 3 minutes. Buchan taking off on the inside now. As we mentioned, doesn't have as big a wall to work with as those waves breaking from the outside, but does find a steep section. Nice backhand snap. A little wobbly on the exit out of that turn, but Ace would know that that's not going to fetch him a 9.03. He'll try and get back out there and hope for just some kind of magic wave to break wide here.
There you go.
So Davey Cathels swinging, using priority. Beautiful bottom turn. Drifts the tail on the first move. Again, throws everything at it on the second turn. And really needs a strong finish here. Does ride out of that turn, but it wasn't the connection with the lip that he was looking for. 1 minute remaining. And Davey will know that last turn just wasn't quite explosive enough.
He got handcuffed, didn't he? He got kind of stuck in that little corner and couldn't release the fins the way he wanted to.
45 seconds to go. And Buchan just using this opportunity to ride a couple of waves here. 40 seconds. Do you remember your rookie performance on the CT? What kind of nerves you experienced? Do you remember if you won your heat?
Very much so. I think Davey Cathels, you know, those first 2 maneuvers on that wave that he just finished on, he was on his way to an excellent score. He just needed to finish it off.
This heat is coming to a close, and it's really interesting just looking at where surfers finish on the QS and how they perform in the first event of the year. Now, Kai Albelli, he had a lot of hype. It might have been almost detrimental taking out the QS because you come in with a bit of extra attention. People expect slightly better results. Coming in at the back end of the QS, pressure's off a little bit. And so far today, the surfers who finished in equal 10th spot, Ryan Callanan and Davey Cathels, despite not getting the win in the first round, have looked really composed.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times when you get those rookies in round 2, we're going to see all those matchups. You're thinking, okay, I got a little bit of a break here. Not the case this year. The rookies are going to be tough to beat.
Well, Jeremy Flores, what a performance from the Frenchman. He is powering through to round 3.